Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meet the Experts, your show to discover the latest and the greatest in wellness, anti-aging, and medical aesthetic trends. I'm Dori Soukup, and today's expert is Aliesh Pierce. She's an author, an educator, a celebrity makeup artist, a skincare expert with over 30 years of experience in the beauty industry. Aliesh is also the founder of AskAliesh.com. She's here today to help us discover do's and don'ts when treating multi-ethnic skin. This episode is sponsored by InSPAration Management, an award-winning medical spa consulting firm. Welcome, Aliesh. It's so great to have you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me. I am just so honored to be part of this platform.
Oh, I think the audience is going to love what we're going to talk about today, so I'm super excited. There's so much to cover on this topic, which is not discussed very often, and that's why I really wanted to have you here. So can we start first by sharing with the audience why you chose a career in the beauty industry and what has kept you in it all these years?
Wow. Well, that's a loaded question.
Yes.
I got a chance to do a TEDx talk, and I had to dig down deep. And they asked the same question. And what I realized is that it started as a little girl in Houston, Texas. I felt like an oddball. I talked like a Midwesterner, and I looked different than everyone else in my suburban community. And this idea of beauty seems so elusive and exclusive, and exclusionary. But when I studied painting and art, I realized that everyone is beautiful. And I really started to analyze this concept of beauty and what its origins are. And I've been hooked.
That's wonderful. Well, you've had such a great career. Today we're going to discuss the do's and don'ts of treating multi-ethnic skin. And I know there's a wide range of ethnic skin. We have African, we have Hispanic, we have Indian, Middle Eastern, Mediterraneans, Asians. I mean, there's a whole scope of different types of multi-ethnic skins. What is the first thing professionals need to take into consideration when treating multi-ethnic skin?
Well, I first want all of my colleagues to understand that everybody is ethnic. So when I speak about multi-ethnic skin, I'm also talking about people with the redhead gene, or those who are very Nordic with a thin dermis and thinner skin. And I think that's the first thing that they have to understand is start with the premise and the philosophy that we all have our own unique ethnicity that comes with its own unique genetic coding, and that slightly alters or influences the physiology of the skin.
Very true. So let's dive into a little bit what professionals actually do sometimes, or mistakes that they actually make that you see they make in treating multi-ethnic skin. I'm sure you can go on and on and on, but let's name at least a few things that they need to be aware of.
The first, I guess, faux pas that they make is jumping in with chemical peels without properly preparing the skin. The deeper the skin tone, the more reactive the melanin making cells. And so it's really important to prepare the skin before actually jumping in, with some suppressants, something to calm down the melanocyte cells so they don't become so reactionary when you cause a little bit of inflammation with a chemical peel or laser or, microneedling even.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest mistakes I think we see in working with clients is when they hire someone that comes into their facility and they get them to operate lasers or, like you mentioned, do some peels, and they end up causing damage to the skin. What are some of the biggest damages that you see in making those mistakes? What happens to the multi-ethnic skin that really is so evident, like, oops, we made a mistake?
this whole industry is really based on a Eurocentric idea of beauty. And so we have to navigate this idea of triggering the inflammatory cascade in order to bring about results. You know, jumping right in with chemical peels is the biggest mistake. And that, of course, will trigger the inflammatory cascade, which can wind up resulting in hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation. I see it a lot with chemical peels, with lasers, jumping ahead without first checking ethnicity, because you know you might be dealing with someone who looks Caucasian but is actually Latin American. So those ancestors, the Mayans and the Incas, the Spaniards, they come up, you know, as you're triggering this inflammation, and it can be really surprising. So I think that's the biggest mistake.
Yeah. So what do you see on the skin when somebody makes a mistake like that?
Well, it depends. So with chemical peels, you may not see it right away. There might be a little bit of lifting or blistering. In darker skin tones, it is challenging sometimes because the redness, the erythema, isn't as easily spotted as it is in fairer skin tones. So you may not have those warning signs that you're going too far. So you see it afterwards with light spots, hypopigmentation, or really persistent dark spots, hyperpigmentation. And those can be long lasting. It could be surface and, you know, something that a melanin blocker can knock out in a couple of months, or it could be a permanent damage.
Wow, that's scary. It could really put the business at risk if you have somebody that's not knowledgeable handling these kind of treatments. And
Definitely. But, you know, I say the same thing with fair skin clients. You know, I remember when I was in aesthetic school, a lot of the students would say, oh, I don't want to give you a facial because I don't want to cause any inflammation that can cause pigmentation. Well, damage is cumulative. So even if you don't see the damage right away, I say take glycolic acid, for example. There was a time in our spa culture that giving these glycolic peels was just a huge trend. You know, run in for a lunchtime peel, get a quick glycolic, slap on some sunscreen and throw them outside. But the reality is that, you know, someone who's Nordic with a really thin dermis, that glycolic can actually cause long-lasting scar tissue.
Yeah, that's definitely something they need to take into consideration. Does that also apply to skincare products? What kind of products they should use?
You know, there is a theory about the pH of the skin being more acidic, the darker the skin tone. So you would change the pH of the products. But I think that now formulators are really, you know, they have this multi-ethnic approach. So there's really nothing that you can't use. It's just the question of being prepared properly.
Now, being in the industry so long and as a published author, you have written and treated skin of all types, really. You've done it, like you said, for years. The important thing, professionals and consumers should know how to get the best results. What would they really need to know to be able to get those results?
Well, I think consistency is the key. First of all, one of my favorite mentors always said, the best skincare is skincare that's actually used. So being consistent is really the answer. And then, you know, understand that your needs are going to change with the seasons as you age, traveling, and the different environments you're going to find yourself in. Be prepared to adjust your professional skincare as needed.
And by the season too, which I think a lot of people make a mistake, and especially you're living in Philadelphia now, you have the severe winters, you have the summer, and a lot of people don't adjust actually.
It's true. I wasn't prepared. And unfortunately, I don't think I properly prepared my clients because I had no idea how much havoc the indoor heating and that cold, dry weather could do to the skin. I think we're all just now recovering.
Yeah. We're on our way, right? There are so many more invasive treatments now that are taking place in a medical spa environment. Lasers are so popular. Everybody that has, medical spa or even day spas now with medical directors are doing laser treatments. Do you find that that's where the biggest mistakes actually happen with laser treatments, or it's really wide across almost everything they do?
Well, I like to think that when you're operating a laser, you've been properly trained, properly prepared, and you know that, the ND YAG basically for laser hair removal is the only one that African Americans can use. I think the challenge comes in that experience, understanding how high a setting you can. I've been burned with the laser before, so I know that it takes a while to heal. It's a pretty traumatic burn. So yeah, lasers, but chemical peels, microneedling, what's the one? The tightening with the not thermolysis, but the pin, plasma pin.
Yes.
All of these, are causing damage to the epidermis, its surface, but without the proper training and experience, it can really cause long-term damage.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some protocols or advice you have for professionals who are watching this when treating multi-ethnic skin? Do you have an approach that you, or a philosophy that you practice that you'd like to share with everyone?
Certainly, yes. I think the main point that I'd love everyone to take away from this is don't be afraid. Don't be overly cautious, but be respectful of the process. So, taking the time to have a proper consultation before you even do your first treatment. Understanding that your client needs to be properly prepped. So it may be a 30-day commitment before they can actually get that chemical peel that they so desperately want. But you can definitely use all of the wonderful modalities that you use for your European or Nordic clients with your African clients. It's just a matter of preparing the skin. I like to use combination therapies. So, once my client is properly prepared, I'm not afraid to dermaplane, microneedle, and then follow with a modified Jesner and top it off with retinol, and sunscreen.
Yeah.
I have, I think, enough experience now that I'm comfortable jumping in with that, but also, cover your butt with liability insurance because accidents happen.
Yeah.
And clients are sometimes non-compliant. So there's definitely that, jumping in, but also being well prepared.
Yes, that's great advice. Aliesh, one other thing that people forget about usually is the sun protection. And they think just because you are darker skin, whether it's Latinos, African Americans, brown, Indian, doesn't matter. They think just because they're dark, they don't have to use protection. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I always tell my clients, look, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't care what you use, if it's mineral or chemical. If I'm doing treatments on you, and especially when we're doing something to block pigmentation, that will make the skin more photosensitive. So you have to use something. I get the argument that, Black skin has its own natural SPF. True. The darkest skin that I've seen, let's say those from Senegal with this beautiful velvety, purplish brown skin, only has a natural SPF of 13. So even that skin will experience UV radiation. It may not show up as a burn, but you are getting that radiation through to the skin cells. So, the other argument I hear is, we need vitamin D. We need the sun to create vitamin D. You need 15 minutes on the back of your neck is all you need in a day. So, that argument is moot. Just use something.
Right. Protect yourself.
Yes, protect
And
yourself. My more European clients are always talking about this lovely tan that they get, and I like to impress upon them that a tan is just an immune system response to the damaging rays of the sun.
oh, I never thought about it that way. Truly, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, a
yeah.
light bulb just went off in my head. I could have had a V8. Wow. Let's talk a little bit about acne and the different skin types. Do you treat it differently than Nordic skin? Or what are some of the protocols for treating acne with multi-ethnic skin?
So I have to be really transparent and honest. I haven't had a whole lot of acne clients, but I've been working with this company in Denmark, creating probiotics for acneic skin. And one of the points that I think they were unaware of is that, on the Nordic side, you might see hyperpigmentation or pigmentation that looks a little purple.
Mm-hmm.
That's vascular pigmentation.
Mm.
And it needs to be addressed differently than pigmentation from, an overactive melanocyte cell. So there are so many issues arise with acne because those inflammatory response can create divots in the skin, these ice pick scars.
Mm-hmm.
You can wind up with hyperpigmentation, the full range. So I try to address each client individually rather than having a blanket approach
Makes sense.
for each ethnic group.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that my Asian clients seem to be the most difficult or challenging to treat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because the stratum corneum, that surface layer of the epidermis, is so thin.
Mm-hmm.
They are very reactionary. So
Mm-hmm.
we call them sensitive,
Right.
they have sensitive skin. But I think it's because the stratum corneum is so thin, and then their hair follicle is like a straw. It's perfectly round. So it's a direct route for any of these products. So just having to be aware of these differences in the physiology of the skin and kind of adjust as needed. But in America, we don't have a straight route to say, oh, this is Chinese skin or this is African skin. So we're such a blend here. So it really is important to address any skin condition, but specifically acne, with that understanding that client's unique makeup.
Why is it? I've always been curious about this. Why is it that darker skin, the population with darker skin, age so much better than your Nordic people or Caucasian people or white people?
Yeah, there's a dermatologist here in Philadelphia who says, the saying "black don't crack," but it sure does sag over time.
That's funny. Black don't crack.
And one of the reasons is that, again, melanin has its own natural SPF. So 11 to 13, you're getting a little bit of sun protection from that, just our natural makeup. But the melanocyte cells, the fibroblast cells, the collagen making cells, are binucleated. So they're shooting off twice as much collagen as fairer skin types. So all of that goes into, a little longevity. You wouldn't know that I'm 55 with the right skincare.
You look amazing, by the way. Your face, your skin is glowing. You definitely practice what you preach.
Been working on it. The Philadelphia winter really, threw my skin, did a number on my skin.
Yeah, you should have moved to Florida, Aliesh.
At least, yes, the humidity. That's what I need.
Yeah, I'm actually 80. No, I wish. No. Yeah.
Now, working for you.
Thank you. You have some skincare products that you've developed. What drove you to do that?
I moved to Philadelphia 2 weeks before the pandemic hit and, found out that I wasn't considered essential. Who knew? But when I was ready to open up, I convinced a friend of mine to let me open in her salon the middle of 2020. And her salon, though, is a natural hair salon, predominantly loctician, different types of locks.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that these clients were going to skew a little more natural. And so, but I still wanted to keep the clinical aspect. And I really couldn't find a brand that fused the two properly, the way I would see fit. So I kind of dug into my background. There's chemists that I worked with, and we came up with a small niche line of products to service those naturalistas, those who are, interested in skincare, but definitely afraid of anything that looks like a long chemical.
Yeah, they want more of a holistic approach, I guess. I would love to try them, by the way. They looked really nice when I checked them out and I was reading.
Well, I'll send you some, definitely.
Yeah, I would love to try them, and I want to tell everybody that's watching to definitely go and check them out and see. Now, you've written many different things, topics about, beauty and wellness and being a makeup, celebrity makeup artist. Can we talk a little bit about all the contribution that you have made into the industry, and tell me what that experience was like in doing makeup for someone like the Michelle Obama, or it's like you had a whole list of people that you have actually worked with. I was just so impressed. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta definitely ask her about that.
Makeup is my first love. It was my intro to beauty and wellness. And I fell in love with the process. And after coming back from Milan, I was just kind of thrown into this celebrity, moving to LA, I was just thrown into this celebrity pool and really, going after these notable figures was really all that my agent could do. There wasn't much of a fashion industry. And so I was fortunate enough to attract, I believe in a spiritual level, manifest these amazing people in my life. And I always say that working with India Ari, the really soulful neo-soul musician from the 90s, she ruined it for me because I then wanted to have that kind of connection with everybody, this kind of spiritual connection. And I think Michelle Obama was one of the last clients I worked with before I went full into skincare. It's a beautiful experience to just be a fly in the room and watch their creative process. It's so fulfilling.
That is so nice. Now, did you do facials as well as makeup for them, or did you do mainly makeup?
Mainly makeup. I did a little skincare as time went on, but only really with those. So with India, Yolanda Adams, those clients who kind of trusted me, for the full spectrum of beauty.
That's so nice. What a career you've had. It's amazing. I remember the first time we met, you were writing for, is it My Lady?
Yes,
book?
For the
That was like ages ago. How many years ago was that, Aliesh? Oh my goodness. Was it 20 years ago?
Well, I have been licensed now 17 years. And Milady contacted me probably a year in. So
yeah. It's
been
a while. That's when
years.
We met for the first time. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. A life well lived.
Yeah, for sure. So what other advice would you give someone, or where would they go to actually learn a little bit more on how to become better at treating multi-ethnic skins?
Well, a little plug here.
Yes, please.
I have online courses that are available on my platform, askaleesh.com, and they range from makeup to chemical peels, kind of introduction to chemical peels. And then I encompassed all of my philosophy on multi-ethnic skin in the Pigmentation 101 course. And I have created a discount code. So if anyone goes to my site and uses the code Dori, they can get 10% off of all of my courses and my products as well.
That's wonderful.
Can I name a few more experts that I'd love to?
Yeah, please do. Yes.
So I tell all my students to first use Google Scholar instead of the regular Google. I think we tend to get caught up in the regurgitation of marketing information instead of real scientific fact. Also, Joelle Lee is an amazing expert. She calls her approach multicultural skin. So finding out what courses she has available. Also, Florence Barrett Hill out of New Zealand is a master at skin analysis. Every new esthetician needs to arm themselves with her information. And then I love all of the scientific information that Rebecca James Gadberry shares.
That's very nice. Yeah. And of course, you love InSPAration management for all the stuff that we do, right?
You guys, let me tell you, I had a call with one of your coaches, and it blew my mind. So I've been in the industry now 17 years, but I have never tried to build my own business. This is the first time. And those little gems that she shared with me just shifted my perspective. So yes, nice. InSPAration management is an amazing resource. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So as a matter of fact, I'd like to give a gift to everybody that's watching this. If you don't have my latest book yet, you should really get it. I don't know if you have it, Aliesh, yet. If you don't, we need to send you one. It's How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. And even though it says medical spa, you can still use it, because what all professionals need are the insight and the strategies that we share in that book. So it'll definitely be very helpful for you. So to get a copy of it, all you have to do is go to InSPArationManagement.com, and it's right there on the home page. You can actually just download it or ask for a hard copy. So either way. Now I notice on AskAliesh.com, what you're trying to do there is also become a directory. Is that what I understood?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more
I'm so
about.
glad you noticed that. I wasn't sure. So it's still not complete, but I have put out a call to all of the students. I have about 200 students who completed my Pigmentation 101 course, so that they can be listed as pigmentation experts on the website.
Very nice. And then the programs that you have, are they online programs or are they actually an in-person program?
So I am launching a Monday mentorship program that will be live in person, hands-on, with actual models who are prepped, so that you can practice those combination therapies we spoke about. Nice. But the courses are also online, available to watch and view indefinitely. I don't have a cutoff time, so you can always refer back to it as a resource.
That's very nice. Well, I love what you're trying to do in helping others become better at what they do, and help them become more successful and gain more clients and achieve more. I think it's great. We need more people like you, Aliesh. Great job on your success in your career and everything that you do for consumers as well as professionals.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's great to have you with us on the show. Is there a last advice you'd like to give everyone?
I guess the best advice I can give is live your dreams. You know, if you dreamt of being a master esthetician and serving a population, a global population, go for it. Yeah. Go for it. There's such a need right now with Zoom and all of the up close and personal conferences that we're doing. Everybody's shifting from makeup to skincare, and so this is the perfect time to, just pursue your dreams.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us today. Great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dori.
Thank you all for watching Meet the Experts. If you are looking for ways to improve your professional career, go to AskAliesh.com and see all the educational programs offered to help you become an expert in treating multi-ethnic skin. Like this episode? Please share it. Leave us some comments below and subscribe to the InSPAration Management YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us. Also, if you are an expert in your field and like to be a guest, please go to meettheexperts.com and apply. We would love to have you share your expertise with our community. Until we meet again, be well and be prosperous. Thank you for watching.